Hi there and welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. Today's session is going to be one of these great sessions where you're going to be working really hard with your muscles, really hard with your cardio, but you're going to be getting 2 minutes rest in between some intervals. So although you're going to be working hard, it's not really going to take you up to that absolute top max eye bulging intensity, but it is going to be somewhere in between my mid intensity and top intensity on the pyramid. Okay, so prepare to work hard, but those rests are really going to be welcomed when they come. And it's going to make this a really good fun workout. Well, fun. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do 3.5 minutes with 2 minutes rest in between. Hey, life's simple that way. But you're going to do these 3.5 minutes at 24 strokes per minute. Again, that's not too bad, but you're going to do these 24 strokes a minute at around about 2K plus 5 or better pace. So that's fast, okay? 2K plus 5 for 24 strokes a minute is around about 7 seconds faster than you would normally be pushing a 24 strokes a minute row at. So this is all about getting the power out from your legs and really connecting properly at the front of the machine. You know what I'm like about trying to get that timing right, the connection at the front. So that's what today is about, okay? So get prepared to work hard, but that's why we have a warm-up, all right? So let's get into our 4-minute warm-up. And as always, we start off by going to our drag factor and setting that where we want it to be. Now, if you don't know what drag factor is, then I do have a video up here on this channel, woohoo, that you can have a look at, and it gives you an idea of what it is and where you might want to set it, okay? I set mine to around about 120, 125 in case you care. Next up, go to your monitor and set it at eye height so you don't have to look up and you don't have to look down. And finally, those foot straps should cover the bottom lace of your shoe as a good guide, or to a point where you're able to roll to the front of the machine and your shins are pointing vertically, okay? So if you're too high, then you might not get there. Too low, you might go scooting past. So the bottom lace in your shoe or the strap coming across the balls of your feet is a good guide to start, but you can adjust from there. If the strap's going across the big, high, kind of bony part of your feet, you're probably set way too high in them, is kind of the guide. Right, so here we go then. So we're going to get into our 4-minute warm-up. I'm going to do this at 18 strokes a minute, and the power you're going to get into this is going to be enough that you can think about the push from your feet connecting to your hands. But don't worry, I'll talk about that more when we get into this warm-up, okay? Here we go then. In 3, 2, 1, and we're off. So 18 strokes a minute is a nice slow stroke rate, and you can concentrate on the push from your legs and the timing of that push from your legs and your hands picking up the handle and connecting to your machine. So it doesn't matter whether you're using a Concept 2 or a water rower or an RP3 or some magnetic thing, whatever, the point is the same, that you get the power out from your feet and they connect to your hands to make the machine go. And the key is to push your feet at the same time that your hands connect. If you push too soon with your feet, your backside goes escaping away from underneath you and you lose that connection. If you pull too soon, then you can't get that snap of your legs into the machine. But if you get it timed right, just like Baby Bear, all is good. So, while you're working on that timing, start to increase your pace to around about 2K plus 20. And what that means, the 2K thing, like I raced through in the beginning, is that you row a 2,000 meter time trial, divide the resulting time by 4. And that gives you your average split time to row 500 meters. And that's your 2K training time. So when I say 2K plus 23, you just go 23 seconds slower than your 2K training pace. Okay, one more stroke here. Let's put one foot on the ground and continue to row with just one leg strapped in. You'll find you slow down a little bit because you've only got one leg in. That's okay. The key here is to still keep your technique close to okay. Remember, you're just leaning forwards to a 1 o'clock position and backwards to an 11 o'clock position. Swap feet. Because it can be easy when you've only got one leg in, to over compress, because you can like go wee and roll too far forwards. And then at the back, well, it's harder to have a deep layback when you've only got one leg in, because the other foot's on the ground, rooting you to position. Right, both feet in, legs straight, roll with your back and arms. So swing over your hips, and then pull in your arms, then arms away, and swing back over your hips again. There we go. So it's a nice pendulum motion, just forwards and backwards. Got 2 more here. 1 more. And let's roll to the front of the machine. Arms straight, forward lean. And just press out with your legs. Not too hard, because here you're just continuing to think about that connection timing, but you're also wanting to hold that forward lean and the straight arms as you press out, so you can get used to driving out in this position rather than swinging your back, opening your hips too early. Okay, get 2 more. Oh, I think I can just squeeze in 1 more. There we go. Right. So keep up on, what? Keep on moving up and down the rail, have a quick drink, and I'll quickly explain one more time what it is that we're doing today. Okay then, so just a quick reminder, what we're doing today is 3.5 minutes at 24 strokes a minute and run about 2k plus 5 pace. So you're really putting this in here. So in terms of effort that you're putting in out of 10, then you're going to be starting off around about 8 out of 10. By the time you get to the end of these 3.5, you might feel like you're getting close to 10 out of 10. But then the 2 minutes rest will then let you back down, and then you can go through it all over again. So it's a fantastic session, okay? It really will build lots of power, lots of kind of cardio power endurance. It'll let you kind of embrace the discomfort that you need in order to be able to row hard for longer, all right? So let's get into this. 3.5 minutes, 24 strokes a minute, and 2k plus 5 pace, okay? In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So this really is all about putting power in from your legs, but also making sure that you are not leaking power. And it's technique that really governs whether you are leaking power or not when you're rowing. And that's kind of why I never sharp about technique when I'm rowing. Although to be fair, in these RowAlong workouts, most of the time when I'm talking technique, it's kind of as a guide for myself to keep me on the straight and narrow. And it just so happens that you're listening in too, rowing along with me. So we're a minute in, and I'm hoping you're nice and warm now. So this is really where the point of why I talk about the connection between your feet and hands in the warm-up comes in, because you're really pushing hard with your legs in this workout. And if you miss the connection timing when you're at almost max power, it's like a exponential leak that you suffer. Okay, closing in on a minute to go. So really think about that feel for your hands picking up the flywheel or water wheel, whatever you're using, at the point when you push your feet into the machine. I'll talk more about body positions in the next interval, so it really helps. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Ah, that's fun. This is when the Concept 2 time machine really comes into play, where 3.5 minutes feels like 10 minutes and 2 minutes rest feels like 15 seconds. So make sure to have a drink in between intervals. I've actually got a different version of this row programmed into Ergzone on the RowAlong track, where it's 1,000 meters, basically the same pace, the same rest. But instead of it being on this video where I'm talking away to you, it's using the 24 strokes a minute pacer video I've got that is just silent. It's not me talking, so you can use music or something along with it. But the difference there is that because it's 1,000 meters, then it's down to how long it takes you to row 1,000 meters rather than this being a very regimented 3.5 minutes. Because I can't really do distance rows as row-alongs, because we're all going to finish at completely different times, and so there's no way really to stay in sync. Whereas here, I just program in 5 3.5 minute intervals with 2 minutes rest in between, and we should stay pretty much in sync, stopping and starting at the same time. So if you want to do a distance version, do check that out, or just do what I just said. Right, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So same thing again, where you're trying to hit 2K plus 5 at 24 strokes per minute. Remember, just watch me on the video or listen to me on the podcast, and that's a good way to just lock in to your stroke rate, and then after 30 seconds, a minute maybe, you'll just hit the right groove to the rhythm, and you shouldn't need to rely on my timing anymore. So the timing between your push of your feet and the pickup of the handle is only part of how you get power in. You also need to let it flow through your body. No, not a Frozen song. Let it flow. You do that by making sure you're in the right position at the front, at the catch, as you start that leg drive. And that position is a forward lean, tilting over your hips, arms straight and loose in front of you. Fingers hooked over the handle. And that's important. You don't want a death grip on the handle. Just loose fingers hooked. And then only slide until your shins are vertical, no further. And then that should mean maximum leg drive. Okay. 4, 3, 2, last one. Ooh. I did this session as the 1,000 meters only a couple of days ago, and I have to tell you, it really is a lot harder talking. I've said before, oh yeah, I'm sure I lose a couple of seconds pace because I talk to you, but I'm rowing this one at the same pace I was a couple of days ago when I did the 1,000 meter version, and it's definitely tougher. But hey, I shall persevere, because hey, what would a row along be if it wasn't for me talking away during it? Especially as being, there's no music or anything, but then, I mean, in case you're wondering, the reason that there's no music to my row alongs, well, there's a couple of reasons. One of them is copyright, where I can't use proper music. I can't stick Deadmau5 or Van Halen on this because I'd get a copyright strike. They'd be like, no. So couldn't do that. Which leaves me with kind of library music, royalty-free music, which just isn't that good. So, and plus, the other thing is that I just pick beats. I just go boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. So that's what I'd pick. But maybe you want some jangly guitar stuff. So it's much better that I leave this without music, and then you can load up another YouTube chat tab or something and play what you want. Simple. 10 seconds to go. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Interval 3. So, previously on RowAlong, we were discussing the position in the catch that you should be in to get the most efficient amount of power into the drive. So forward tilt over your hips, arms straight but also loose, so you're not tense through your arms, fingers hooked over the handle and sliding forwards until your shins are vertical. But also, you want to make sure your posture is nice and powerful, so you are up on your sit bones rather than sitting slumped with your hips rolled backwards. And then when it comes time to push your feet into the machine, you try to hold that forwards lean, arms straight. Obviously you can't hold your shins vertical, but that forwards position, you want to stay there for about half of the leg drive. And then once you get halfway, that's when you swing your back over your hips into that backwards lean. Ooh. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Oh. Wow. One second, caller. Ooh. Not the most exciting chat if you're listening on the podcast. Although podcast people, you do get music. So you're probably sitting there thinking, why was he talking about no music? When I can clearly hear some Euro dance banging away in the background. Mostly because it's less stimulating just listening to it. If you were watching this and there's that moment when I was just breathing heavy and having a drink, it's not that bad. But if you're listening to this on a podcast and there's like a 10-second break while, hello, I've closed my exercise ring. Yeah, I should hope so. Yeah, so if you're on the podcast and it's just me going, it's not very exciting. Whereas if you've got a little grumbling boots and captain in the background, it keeps you a bit more excited. Well, not excited. You're not like, oh my, yes, we're in a rest period. Right, 2 more of these to go. We've got 20 seconds to go until the start of the next one. Remember, it's all about pushing from the legs and getting that power into the machine. Okay, 10 seconds to go. Oy. Who decided there was 5 of these? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. So, it can help when it comes to holding this forward tilt and arms straight, that instead of thinking about pushing yourself backwards, or worse, thinking about pulling the handle, if you think about pushing the machine away from you instead, then like a deadlift or a squat, you are more likely to hold your position to get that power in. So really think about pushing the machine through the wall in front of you or into the mirror or the row of treadmills that may be in front of you if you're doing this in a gym. But that's really where most of your power is coming from, is whoosh, the push. Because your backswing, as long as you time it right, will add in power, as will your arm pull to a finish. But really, most of your pace comes from your legs. So if you pull early or swing your back early and feel that you're doing a good enough job, imagine what you'd do if you used your legs. 2 more. 1 more. So yeah, if you are pulling early with your arms, that's fighting. Your arms and your legs are fighting with each other and you're not getting the full push from your legs, and you're also not getting the full pull to a finish. So just imagine you got all the power from your legs and then all the power from your arms and then all the power from swinging from a forwards to backwards lean. In fact, on the form check Friday, dated 4th of December 2021, towards kind of midsection of it, I actually go through that. I row with legs only, and I'm like 2 minutes 13 pace or something. And then I start rowing with legs and then my back, and I get down to 2 minutes 5 pace at a slower stroke rate. And then I throw in my arms as well at an even slower stroke rate, and I'm down at 158. That just shows how if you go legs, body, arms, that's all of your body putting in 100% of available power, rather than swinging too early and losing your entire back power, grabbing at the front and pushing at the same time. So then you only really get 80% legs, like available legs, and like 10% arms. So forget the percentages, you get what I'm saying. 6 seconds to go. Last one in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. You know, something very strange is happening right now. I'm getting a stitch. I don't think I've had a stitch since I was like 16. Just shows how tough a workout this really is. I do like pushing the pace of stroke rates sometimes. I would normally do 24s at 2k plus 12. That's what my body naturally wants to row at for 24s, but pushing the pace every now and then kind of shakes your body out of that rut a little bit, gives more of an option to develop power when you need it. Whew. Okay, we have a minute and a half. Almost there. Is that 30 strokes? We can do this. Can you get more pace at the same rate for this last 20 strokes? Come on, we're almost done. You don't need to hold back. Get that timing right. Really let your legs do all the work. Try not to overlean. That was to me. You won't go faster by overleaning in search of more length. Stick to 1 o'clock to 11. 2 more. 1 more. Oh. Oh. Well, fair to say, that was tough. As an aside, December 2021's cross-team challenge is to row 1,000 meters at 24 strokes a minute as fast as you can. So this is a great training session for just that. That's why I did it a couple of days ago, and why I wanted to do it today as well, was to give me some training for the CTC, and also if you are planning to do the CTC as well for your team, then you can use it for that. However, if it's no longer December 2021, then it's just a good old slog of a session. It's one where you, if you want to feel like you've had a good, I've worked hard today, I've pushed hard, flex those muscles. It's a great session to come back to. Right, 2-minute cool down. In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Around about 18 strokes a minute again for this cool down, and really try to almost exaggerate your body positions for this cool down, because there's a chance, certainly it happened to me just then, that as fatigue set in, I started to come forwards and I was really down, reaching for more length, collapsing and reaching to the front of the machine, shins past vertical as I was searching for that extra pace, which, you know, the last 200 meters of a 2K race, when you're really on the limit, on the edge, and your normal stroke has just collapsed on you, you can't get any more out of it. Sometimes a little tweak like that can help you row faster because you're just spent, and it's like that extra lean just gets you a little bit out of it. But if you're strong and powerful, actually that over lean to the front steals power from you. I know it sounds quite confusing and quite contradictory, but it's like, I'm trying to think, what's a good example? It's like the biscuits at the back of the cupboard that you never touch because they're quite old and you think they're quite stale. But then one day you're desperate for a biscuit and all that's left is those stale ones and you just have to go for it. Probably not the best of analogies ever, but hey, right. That's my cool down done. You can, of course, keep on cooling down. You don't have to stop. Or please, rather than just stopping and walk away, then do some stretching. Do your hamstrings, your quads, your hip flexors, shoulders, biceps, forearms. Because into that pray motion, get your forearms. And some supine twists for your back. And that'll hopefully see you right while I'm saying goodbye. Now, I have to race off, I'm afraid. None of these big, long, stupid outros, because I have to go and pick up my daughter. So I'm just going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for doing this little standalone session. This is a great one just to keep it in your back pocket every time you're thinking, you know what, I've just got around about half an hour, but I want to really work hard. Then this is the session to come back and do and really push those 24s. Try and set up a mirror so you can check your technique. Make sure you're holding that forward position as you drive. Okay, so if you see yourself swinging into a vertical position before your legs connect, then really try and think about that forward lean, all right? There we go. So do check out some of the other workouts that I have on this channel. I mean, every single one of them can be done as a standalone, even if it says it's part of a 10K plan or a 2K plan or the 30 days of 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. If you just look through and go, you know what, today I fancy 12 times 3 minutes with 2 minutes rest, then that's in the 10K plan, but you can just do it on your own, okay? So there's all of them. There's all my form check videos. There's a whole bunch of other things that I make up here that I should probably be a bit more professional about and rhyme off and have links coming up and start shouting, smash the subscribe button, man. But I'm not going to do that. Although, do leave me a comment. Let me know if you'd actually rather that was music on this or whatever. Do engage. And if you wish to use the hashtag #WhatNoMusic, then please do. For a little bit of fun. I appreciate you got this far. Anyway, I should really go. So I do hope you enjoyed today's session. All right, so please look after yourself. Stay safe. Be well. But most importantly, bye-bye.